and Amanda Wagner, and they're going to do a cheesecake that I'm so excited about. And this will be good for what?
Valentine's Day.
Oh,
Yes.
go for it, guys.
All right, so we're going to get started here with some vegan cream cheese. And so he's going to pour it into the bowl.
I guess just choose the brand that you like.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's a lot of brands out there. This is one from Kroger.
Okay.
And I really like this brand here because it's pretty stiff. It's not too watery, so it helps with the cheesecake consistency.
Which one is that?
It is called Kite Hill. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And where can we find that?
Kroger.
All right.
Yep, so we need about 30 ounces, so about 4 containers would be good.
Excellent.
Yeah. So we're going to mix that up with the mixer.
Is there
First.
anything else we're going to add?
First, mix that one up.
All right, fair enough.
This is low setting, yeah.
This. Okay, is that good?
Yeah, that's perfect. So then we're going to add our coconut cream in here. And so kind of gives it that. Ooh, that's kind of messy,
It's got
sorry.
that stuff on the bottom. All right,
Thank you.
get that cleaned up. There you go.
All right. You never
we
know
mix
what's
that
going to
up?
happen, yeah.
All
Yep.
right.
Please mix that up.
Okay.
I need a napkin. I have a napkin. Thank you.
This is really good. I've tried a lot of different.
Has a really good flavor.
In fact, it'll fool people. Like we made it for some friends of ours that had no idea that it was vegan. It was incredible.
Yeah, so now we're going to add a little bit of lemon. It's a half of a lemon in there.
All right.
We're going to add a cup of organic cane sugar in here. Let's see, you can get this spoon, please.
All right.
Pour it in there.
Yeah.
And we'll need a tablespoon, but here, go ahead and add that
this.
in there.
And what might this be?
This is cornstarch.
All right.
Yeah,
Fair
thank
enough.
you.
Mix that in.
Tell me how you found this recipe.
This recipe is also from my mom. She's the cook, the real cook out there, and she's awesome. So anyways, I always ask her, Mom, what's the best recipe for whatever I need? And so she sent me this one. And it is, I'll explain it in a little bit.
All right.
And put some of this in there too.
Okay.
Okay, so you need a tablespoon of vanilla.
All right. Excellent. So while we're mixing this up, are there any hilarious anecdotal stories you'd like to tell? Okay.
So this is a New York cheesecake recipe.
Oh,
I'm not sure if they can hear me with that though.
so it's a New York cheesecake
Yeah,
recipe.
it's a New York cheesecake recipe,
All right.
and it's from Bianca Zavatka. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but that's who it's originally from.
Excellent.
All right.
Well, it looks pretty mixed to me.
All right, awesome. That's perfect. Now we're going to get the other pan over there.
Okay. Now this one we prepared by putting parchment paper in here, and you kind of have to push it down and crinkle the edges so it kind of sits up vertically. And then I took scissors and just cut the excess off.
Yeah, the parchment paper helps a ton just to be able to transfer it somewhere else because otherwise you might have a mess on your hands. So
That's right.
it makes it a lot easier. So first we're going to put the crust.
Sure.
So you just use your favorite vegan cookie crust. There's a lot out there. We went ahead and went with chocolate. but
Like a vegan Oreo.
yeah, like a vegan
substitute.
Oreo. Yeah, which Oreos are vegan, but this is a healthier brand. So we thought it would make for a good cheesecake. So
Kind of looks like
crust.
soil.
Yeah,
I
but
could
it's not.
throw some good carrots in that.
So yeah, you add some butter in with the crackers, which we already did that at home. So he's just gonna kind of smush that down,
Yep.
and
You kind of gently melted that butter, didn't you?
mm-hmm.
We used a vegan butter, of course.
Yes.
So you're the parents of 3 children. What
Yeah.
are your careers and what do you do in your spare time besides watch 3 kids?
Well, you can probably tell from Dylan's hands. He,
They're clean, I promise.
yeah,
I'm a commercial roofing contractor. So.
yeah,
All right.
yep. And I am a stay-at-home mom.
Praise the Lord.
Yeah, and
Yep.
yeah, we're. You don't need to mix it anymore.
All right, is it good?
Yep.
I don't know. I just feel like got to be thorough. All right, here we go.
All right, so we're gonna pour that in
Okay.
here.
Use the old spatula over there.
Mm-hmm.
So if you did it right, it should,
Kind of be like a thick.
yeah. I don't know. It's,
Consistency. Oh.
and I just failed. Oh my goodness.
Just keep going.
If you do it right, see, this is what
Yeah.
this is going to be amazing. All right.
So we're gonna go ahead and
Yeah.
clean this up a little
It's
bit.
still going to be amazing, even though I failed.
Just don't drop your bowl
Man,
into it, and
It
you'll
was
be great.
Well, it was slippery. All right. Here we go. You take that.
Yeah. So
And
yeah,
we'll just kind of
Yeah.
even it out here a little bit.
So the trick to this is cooking it in a water bath. So what you're going to do is you're going to get another container. It can be a 9 by 13, a deep 9 by 13, and you're going to go ahead and put some water in that 9 by 13 and add this whole thing into the water while you cook it. And you're going to cook it at 350 for 1 hour. But first, before we do that, we have to wrap it in aluminum foil. So Dylan will show you
Right.
guys how we do that.
So basically, you want to make this thing watertight. So you're using this aluminum foil, kind of like this, and you're just wrapping it up around the edges. And you can kind of fold it in.
Yeah.
I like to use the very wide, heavy-duty aluminum foil. We tried to use some of the narrow stuff.
And the
and
little
it was
cracks.
A bit of a struggle.
Yeah.
You're kind of making like a watertight boat or something. It's going to be sitting in this.
And I would do 2 layers of aluminum foil just to be sure
Yeah.
no water gets in.
Just kind of like that, more or less.
Yep. So you wrap it in aluminum foil, and then you
Yep.
stick that into the water when you put it in the oven.
And that water should come up to about at least as high as
Make sure it doesn't go over.
the cheesecake batter comes.
Yep, and then you're gonna cook that for 1 hour, like I said. And then once you cook it for an hour, you're gonna leave it in the oven with the oven off for another hour. And then once you do that, you let it cool, you put it in the refrigerator overnight, and the next day you have a really good consistency cheesecake. So vegan cheesecake. And yeah, you really can't tell the difference. When it's done right, it looks just like cheesecake. So yeah, we'll show you the finished product here.
The magic is coming out of the refrigerator.
And I didn't drop the bowl in this one, so that's the way it turned out.
I'm going to ask you guys to cut it. Is that all right?
Sure.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
that they can see
Yeah, absolutely.
let's get you a nice knife,
All right.
plate.
And one thing that my wife likes to do a lot is to just make it look good. You know, you give a nice presentation to it. Obviously, it's still going to taste the same, but you know, it kind of just makes it feel like a little more effort went into it, and somehow even makes it taste better when you see that it's presented really well.
Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and cut it here, and
Yeah.
you wanna do it?
Oh, sure.
Go for it.
All right.
Yeah, over there.
Just kind of slice.
We need something to serve it too.
Yeah. Do we have a little something to scoop it up with? Like a little
Let me see here. If we have like a.
Let me find
All right.
No,
So that paper is
That's
still on the
perfect.
bottom, correct one?
thank you. It is, yeah.
Yeah.
So I just,
You just kind of have to slide it off that paper.
yeah, right there. Okay. All right.
Hey,
Yep. So there. See if I can.
yeah, I'll take this and
Yeah.
push it off.
Thank you. Okay.
it. All right.
So yeah,
Thank you.
there it is. Maybe not the prettiest slice, but all right. Let's try it.
Let's try it. Nailed it.
So good.
That's
To
best
make
yet.
the topping, it's super simple. You get frozen. You can get frozen strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, whatever you like, and you cook that up and let it defrost. You know, as you cook it, and it'll start kind of smashing, getting into kind of like a paste like this.
Puree.
Yeah, puree. And so then you're gonna add some sugar and cornstarch. So you're gonna put a little bit of cornstarch and a little bit of water and mix that up. And so if you look, there's gonna be a recipe, so all the ingredients will be there. But all you do is mix that up first in water. You add that into the pot, and then it will thicken up just like this. And then you can add that to the top, and it's so good with it. So yeah, that's how you do the topping.
This afternoon, we're making a key lime avocado pie. And this recipe was taken from Plant Pure Nation, Kim Campbell, and it's I have made it well over a half a dozen times, and everybody that's tried it thinks it's phenomenal. So if you're a key lime person or a lime person, this is something that you would enjoy. It is whole foods. It is also a raw. So what we're going to do is start with the crust. The recipe calls for medjool dates. I didn't have any medjool dates, which just shows you that you can substitute things and get away with it. So I'm going to use the datelet dates. These are the organic ones that I've gotten from Costco. So it calls for 6 to 8 dates, and so I decided how many I thought would be a good substitute. I think I have about 20 dates here, because medjool dates are much bigger and they're a little bit sweeter, and so I want to get that same sweetness, so I need more of the datelet dates. So we need, we've got our dates. I've got a cup of walnuts. We're going to put all of this into the food processor. I've got a cup of old-fashioned oats that we're going to throw in here. I have a half a cup of unsweetened coconut. I'm going to pop the lid on here and make a little racket, but we want to watch this so that it's going to get a crumbly texture, and when we open it up, we're going to want to grab that and it makes a form. So let's make a little racket here. We're almost to that point, and I'm going to add a teaspoon of vanilla and give it a few more twirls. Again, this is a no bake. When we finish it, we're going to stick it in the freezer. If you can see, it's going to hold its form. I think that's going to be good, like that. So I'm going to take it put it in our springform pan. And because we're doing this around Valentine's Day, I found a heart-shaped springform pan, and I forgot a procedure here. Let's back up. I got to show you this trick. We need to add some parchment paper to this. Let's see. We're going to get a piece of parchment paper and a pair of scissors. A quick trick that Kim Campbell showed us that I think is phenomenal is we're going to prepare our springform pan to receive our crust. So I'm putting it on the parchment paper. Let's see, can we see that? There we go. Parchment paper on there. And then this on top of it. And then we're going to take our scissors and just cut around it. Now we're ready for our crumbly crust. We're going to spread it out evenly and pack it down into our heart-shaped pan. Again, this is oatmeal and walnuts. You could use any kind of nut. You could use pecans. Got a little bit of vanilla in here. Okay, that's our crust. And we'll set that aside. And now on to our filling. This recipe, again, I'm making it in the heart-shaped pan. This is a full recipe, but when I want to make it just for a few of us, I use the much smaller pan, springform pan, and you can do the parchment paper, baking paper, the same way in a smaller pan. So we'll set this to the side for a little bit and bring on our filling. So in our filling for the key lime pie, we're going to have 4 small or 3 large avocados, a half of a cup of lime juice. I want to show you a couple of gadgets I like to use. We're going to have some coconut cream or milk, some maple syrup, and the zest of 2 limes. So and all of those ingredients are going to go in the blender. So let me show you, I've started to zest this lime. I like to do my zest before I cut my limes. And if you'd used your microplane in this position, the microplane is going to catch your zest, and you just take it and flop it over. So we want the zest of 2 limes. When I'm making the lime juice, it calls for a half a cup, but I like a generous half a cup. So if it goes over a half a cup, I'm good, because I like that wonderful citrusy lime flavor. So we're getting there. Again, if you don't have a microplane like this, oftentimes there's something similar on the side of graters that'll work, that you can make zest with. It's always best to have fresh zest. And as you can see, it's pretty easy to make. So we'll start with that. Now we need a half a cup of lime I would say that this knife needs to go back to the sharpener. We'll get some lime juice going here. And I like, another kitchen gadget I like is a lime squeezer. So we'll give these limes a squeeze here. It'll take at least 3 or 4 limes to get that half a cup that we need. They make these squeezers in different sizes. This one happens to be a small one for limes. I have one that's designed for lemons. The blender I'm using today is a Blendtec. There's things about the Blendtec that I like. I also have a Vitamix. Whatever piece of equipment that you can afford for your budget is what you should use. But the more the high-powered piece of equipment that you can get, the better you're going to be for a blender, because you're going to use it for some pretty stiff stuff. I think we're getting, nope, I need a couple more limes. Here we go. That's one thing I don't like to skimp on. I like lots of lime flavor. My limes must be losing their liquid. What did that? I think this is the 5th one. But I want that good lime. Whoa! I'm going to go fishing. All right. That'll get it. We're going to add that. And then we're going to add avocado. A trick that I learned, if you want to get the seed out, and if the little stem is left in the avocado, your chances of having an avocado here is like this stem. I'm going to pop it out. That stem is still there. The chances of this avocado being a good one that won't have any black on the inside, that's something I've learned in the last few months. And these are nice. This one's a little bit on the underripe side, but I think we'll be okay. Again, there's this one's nice and soft. Yep. And let's get all of that avocado meat that we can get. Again, this is an, whoops, I put that in the wrong place. Oh, got to go fishing again. We'll get it. Oh, I got some good stuff on the left on the seed. Let's get that in our blender. Okay. And then we'll take a spoon and get our avocado out. yes, avocados have a lot of fat. This is not something that you're going to make every day, but it's a nicer fat than processed oil for your desserts. At our house, when I was growing up, desserts were saved for Sabbath lunch, and so we've had this a number of Sabbaths for lunch. Every friend that we've made it for have enjoyed it. So we're going to add a 1/4 cup of coconut. This happens to be coconut cream. The recipe calls for coconut milk. And I'm using cream because that's just what I had. Again, I like, for some other recipes, I use the coconut cream. And all these, so far, you can get at Kroger's. So we've got some avocados in there. We've got some lime juice in there. And the coconut milk. We're going to put 3/4 cup of maple syrup. Let's make some. Let's make sure we have everything. We have the zest, we have the maple syrup, we have the coconut milk, we have the lime juice, and we have 3 avocados, which will be more than enough for this recipe. And we'll give it a blend. So as you can see here, yes. See how I got that nice vortex, which means that it was all rotating around. And now we've got our crust. I'm just going to make sure that it's nice and firm. Let's just be safe. One day I made this and I tasted it and I thought, something's missing. And it was the maple syrup. You don't want to forget the maple syrup. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, make sure I've got everything blended up here. You can see how handy that long-handled, narrow spatula is to get right down there and get all those wonderful goodies out. Now I'm going to take it and smooth it out. And we're going to stick it in the freezer. And when I make it, I try to make it the day ahead of time so that it has time for all of the flavors to marinate together and it gets nice and stiff. And what I do is I take it and put it in the refrigerator about an hour before I want to serve it. And then it's just right. It's still frozen, but it's just right to cut and has that, not too hard, but just that frozen texture to it that's really, really good. So we'll be back in a few with our frozen product. All right, so we've had our key lime pie in the freezer. Again, you can leave it in the freezer for a few hours. Overnight is great, and I like to take it out of the freezer about an hour before I want to serve it. So let's put it right here on our serving platter, and you can see the spring form. We've got our key lime. We can decorate it with some limes. And if we're doing it for Valentine's, we might want some, I think some raspberries would be good. Raspberry and lime. And then we'll just get a knife, and you can well, the other thing you can do is now, if you want to slide it off of the bottom of the, I don't know, we're not sure how this will work. You could slide it off the tray. It needs to be a little more frozen you could slide it off that bottom piece. But again, there's a sliver of key lime pie. There it is. Enjoy.
Hello, today I'm going to be demonstrating a recipe. It's called Flourless Chocolate Muffins. And this is from a friend of a friend, someone local. Her name is Marissa Van Allen. So thank you, Marissa, for this recipe. This is really easy. Everything goes in one bowl. So you're going to do 1 cup of unsweetened applesauce. Applesauce is a great substitute for eggs, especially when you're doing baking. Makes things very moist and also a healthy way to add some fruit. And then we're going to do a cup of peanut butter. Today I actually ran out of my jar of peanut butter, so this has some almond butter in it as well. So 1 cup there. And get all that out. So this is going to be full of protein. And then we're going to do a 1/2 cup. The recipe calls for dark cacao powder. This is just regular cacao. And I was looking up the healthy benefits of cacao, and cacao is actually full of protein too. I had no idea, but it has, in 2 tablespoons, it has 7 grams of protein. So along with the peanut butter in these things, it's going to be full of protein. Even though it's a dessert, it has some healthy benefits. Cacao also has flavonoids, which help reduce inflammation and help with blood pressure. I'm going to add now some maple syrup. This is a 1/2 cup of maple syrup. And that's the only sweetener in this that we're adding on the recipe. Maple syrup is another great substitute to just using refined sugar. It's still sugar, but it's a little healthier since it's not so processed. So next thing we're going to do is a teaspoon of baking soda. And then we're going to do a teaspoon of vanilla. So we'll put that in there, a little bit of vanilla. I love the smell of vanilla. So we'll just mix that up in here. So as you can see, it's just kind of a gooey, chocolatey mixture. And it smells really good. You just want to make sure you get all those lumps out. Now the recipe has an optional of adding chocolate chips. So I did add chocolate chips to this. It just gives it a little extra desserty flavor. So just kind of whatever sounds good to you guys. I just did a little bit of probably about half a cup or less of chocolate chips, and I use Lily's. They're just a little bit healthier. I don't know if you can see. They're baking chips. These are dark chocolate, and the thing about Lily's is that there's no sugar added in these chocolate chips. They're actually sweetened with stevia, so makes them a little bit healthier as well. All right. So the recipe doesn't actually call for salt, but I just do a little bit of salt just to add. It helps bring out the flavor of all the sugar in there and chocolate. Now I add it to these little muffin cups. So these are little silicone muffin cups. They're nice because they're squishy, so you can just push them right out when you're done. I got these at IKEA. I'm sure they have them anywhere you want to go get little silicone baking cups. But that was the first time I used them last week, and they're very handy. So you just fill them. You don't even have to spray this with anything. You just fill them probably close to the top here. This is a very thick mixture. Just kind of fill it close to the top until you get it all in there. And I'll just show you, I'll finish this here in a little bit, but I'll show you kind of what the finished product looks like. And it usually makes about 10 cupcakes if you fill it kind of close to the top of a normal cupcake. So there's that, and then I'll show you what they come out to look like. So they're very soft and very moist and full of flavor and health. You bake it at 350 for 20 minutes. And I actually left mine in like probably about 5 more minutes just because I felt like they were so moist, and then the silicone instead of paper. So you can kind of adjust it, kind of stick a toothpick in there or touch the top. If it bounces a little bit, then you're good to take them out. All right, thank you.